In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman, and those 3 junior super friends, Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rum Regret podcast. I am Andy Drake.
Johanna Myers.
Nate Tussey, we drink and we know things.
And tonight, we are lucky enough to have Bay Area rock radio legend Nikki Blakk on the podcast. Nikki, how the hell are you?
I'm good. Don't call it luck. It's not like we don't know each other.
Right. I know.
All out in the intro.
Hey,
right? We go back like fat crayons, buddy.
No, that's true. That's
We're like Jackson rubber balls, man. Like,
That's true. No, it's just awesome to have you. Like, for some reason, I never put 2 and 2 together that I should have you on the cast. And then finally, when Nate commented on your post, he's like, "Oh, we should have you on the cast." I'm like, "Fucking of course we should have her on the damn cast." So you are here.
You're welcome.
it's funny too because I don't know Nate, so I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And then you chimed in. I'm like, "Oh, I know Andy. Okay, so it's not creepy."
I should have tagged Andy in the post.
Right. Yeah.
It's not creepy. I'm only mildly freaking out being a child born in the 70s in the Bay Area that you're on the podcast, by the way. Well, let's just get that out of the way.
What?
Right, yeah. Nate is a fan. That's putting it
Not in a weird way. I'm just a big rock fan and I listen to the Bone forever.
That's all.
Yeah.
You were the night voice for Nate. That was
now that's calling in to ask a hot chick this whole time. God damn it!
I don't want to get picky or anything, but I did do afternoon drive for longer than I did night.
Yes,
that's true. No, that is true. Yeah,
just putting that out there.
No, that's good. Yeah. Okay. So, as with all of our guests, we do go through a sort of a nerd-leaning survey.
Okay. Fair enough.
And there is no wrong answer. And I know the answer to this first one, but I have to ask it anyway. Are you more Star Wars or Star Trek?
That was tough because when I was really little, my mom was a big Trekkie for the original. Mm-hmm. So before there was a Star Wars, there was a Star Trek. But let's face it, I mean, I was like 7 when Star Wars came out. So Star Wars like owned me from through all of my salad days. And then the Next Generation came out. And I was obsessed with Next Generation. And then Next Generation went into syndication, like right when I started working in bars as a bartender and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, you get home from working at the bar at 2:00 in the morning and catch a rerun of Next Gen. And so, and then there's the whole difficulty with like the continuation of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
Like if I gotta choose, I'll choose Star Wars, but I don't like to choose.
No, and that's I am both. I can safely say that I am both. So I love Star Trek almost just as much as I love Star Wars.
Yeah, we
Thank you.
all sci-fi identities on this podcast.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I barely watched DS9. I didn't do much with like Captain Janeway, even though I really loved her portrayal.
Yeah.
And and then anything after that was like kind of a bonus until they revamped the movies. Like, are we talking movies or TV? Because then I guess we'd have to split it.
No, it's everything. Yeah.
Just you to the core.
Because I'd like to be the first person to say that whole V'ger storyline was garbage.
Oh, yeah. The Star Trek, the motion picture was awful.
So if we're just talking motion pictures, Star Wars, hands down.
Okay.
And then if we're just talking TV series, Star Wars has cartoons, which I don't do.
Oh man,
I will tell you that right now.
Nikki,
I love
they're so
cartoons. Shut up. I love cartoons.
They're so
and I
good.
love sci-fi, but I need my sci-fi to be live action.
But it fills in all the gaps between the movies and stuff.
Oh, okay. I have a friend who literally nags me, and I'm not kidding you, probably every 3 months for the last 5 years to watch the cartoons.
Yep. Good. That's a real.
And he'll never stop. And since we've been in lockdown, he's stepped that up to more like every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I still haven't done it. So there you go.
Yeah. So Nate is that friend to Joe and I.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know what?
Proudly guilty as charged. Yes.
Yeah.
I've made it through I think 4 seasons of the cartoons, but isn't there 9 of them?
It's so many.
Never ending.
Yeah, there's a Clone Wars specifically. There's a lot, but there's also a bunch of stuff online where they tell you these are the
you
ones
can skip episodes. Trust me, they've tried every strategy. I still haven't done it.
Well, now
I'm not kidding you.
So many hours in a day.
I'm totally unemployed, and I have all the time in the world, and I still haven't done it. And I literally have at least 3 emails in my inbox right now with different configurations of which episodes to watch from both cartoon series. Should I choose to finally step into that world? But I just don't want my sci-fi in my cartoons. Unless
resistant.
I
Rick
understand.
and Morty is the exception to that.
Oh, right. Come on. Thank you, Nikki.
Okay, and there's one member of the podcast who has not watched Rick and Morty yet.
Oh
my God.
Hey, it's not a Star Wars thing, so why are you bringing up that shit?
I pity you, my friends, because Rick and Morty is so next level. Oh my god!
Lubba dub dub.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
Pickle Rick.
Yeah.
Oh, Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick is the be all end all. My god.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next question.
Okay, and I'm actually editing this question now because I had an epiphany. So, if you could switch places with any superhero from any universe, who would that be? Who would that be, and why?
That's so wide open.
Yeah, but I mean, if you could become any superhero that is out there, who would it be?
Just turned into a psychological profile.
A little bit.
Well, yeah, because, okay, first off, I'm trying to figure out, am I going by, the powers that I want, or am I going by, the character portrayal? Am I going by, the comic version, or am I going by, a specific actor portrayal?
So, okay, so this and that is the perfect start to where you're going to get to here.
I need this quantified a little more.
Okay, so really whatever speaks to you. So, for example, my guy is Superman, right? And my favorite portrayal of Superman is Christopher Reeve, hands down.
You're so cliche.
I know, totally, right? Yeah. So, if someone were to ask me that question, I would say, without missing a heartbeat, Christopher Reeve, Superman. But again, I know somebody that would say, Kevin Conroy's Batman. And there are several instances of Kevin Conroy's Batman, right? From the animated series to the video games to whatnot. But, so, and let me the original question is, are you more Marvel or DC?
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, well, I would also have to quantify that. Are we talking comics? Are we talking TV shows? Are we talking movies? Because obviously the MCU is greater than the DCEU no matter what. As much as you want it to not be, as much as you especially me, are drawn to the darker characters and the less the more fallible heroes and anti-heroes of the DCEU, they just can't get the movies together like Marvel has.
Right.
So, that said, I suppose as a kid, I 100% adored Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. Okay. And I think I think as an adult, I have like a deep appreciation for kind of like the Playboy Batman persona, maybe even like Val Kilmer's Batman.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I would love to be a fucking crime-fighting billionaire with like a million gadgets and like endless resources to just philanthropically help people. I think that would be awesome.
Okay, and that's an answer that's totally acceptable.
I like to think of you, if you're going to do Batman, how about Christian Bale's Batman? Because then you get Morgan Freeman as your Fox like gadget guy.
Well, if I could choose anything I want, I could.
Michael Caine is your Alfred. Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am really liking new Alfred. What's his
Jeremy
name?
Irons.
Jeremy Irons. Thank you. I am liking Jeremy Irons Alfred, especially when he gets like all anal about how to make the tea.
Dude,
like
she's 5,000 years old and he's trying to show her how to make tea. It's hilarious.
I kind of loved that part where he was just like, because I love tea and I'm very particular about and I love coffee and I'm very particular about both.
Yeah, I saw you with the mortar and pestle because your coffee grinder died.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I already have a new one.
Oh yeah,
I have already replaced the coffee grinder that broke this morning.
Yeah, I figured.
But I mean, I really enjoyed WandaVision, and I like the Wanda character because I like how she's like kind of damaged, but then I also get really irritated with her damage. But I like her powers, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to just manifest like nuclear level power just by, mad, like just happenstance?
Right.
Yeah, again, I don't think there's any one answer for me on that one.
And there isn't. You can lean more one way than the other. I tend to lean more DC than Marvel. Nate leans heavily towards the Marvel.
Hey,
but he does give his DC
because the movies are better.
It's due, right? Yeah.
I like a smorgasbord, and I like variety. And what I feel like today, I might not feel like tomorrow. I guess. So I guess that's why it's hard for me to answer right this second.
Word.
Yeah. And I mean, Joe, I need to re-listen to the cat. Where do you stand on the whole Marvel DC thing?
I'm pretty much Marvel, but now I'm kind of leaning towards DC, and we'll get into that in the podcast.
That's okay. And I guess
not podcasting right now. I thought.
I think we are
getting that in the meat and potatoes.
It has begun.
Yes.
What's the third question?
Is there another question? I don't know.
Thought there was.
Your questions,
Xbox, PlayStation.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Do you game, Nikki, at all?
So here's my problem. Thanks to an extensive career programming music for the bone, I have a repetitive motion injury. So I'm right now I'm looking at my very last Xbox. I still have it just for fun. I don't play it, can't use it. I just look at it. But I think I was more partial to Xbox only because I preferred where the block buttons were.
Oh, gotcha.
I was partial to the controller, but I wasn't super married to the format because I really was more of a group gamer.
Sure.
Like my friends and I would get because we're all Gen X, right? So we all would play Atari at the one kid's house that had the Atari. And,
yeah.
Oh my God.
So you're all trying to play. What was the one with all the corners where everybody had their little forts in the corners and the paddle?
Oh God.
And it was the only 4-player game, right? So like one kid from up the block would bring his paddle and another kid would bring their paddle so that you could get the 4 paddles in the Atari all at once. And play 4-player all together.
Bug me. That's gonna bug me. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can't think of it.
You know what I'm talking about? That one.
No,
but it's not Breakout, is it?
No, it's like
it's not. It's got some other stupid name.
Warlords, Medieval Mayhem. There's a couple.
Warlords sounds right. It's something war related.
Right. Yeah.
Anyhow, so that's like my intro to gaming was that. So I've always wanted gaming in a group setting, and then we got super into like Tekken and Mortal Kombat and 007, in the 90s, like all my friends and I were working at bars. So we get home from the bar at like 2:00 in the morning and there's nothing around except for the people who work at the bar. And we just have drinks and play, kill each other in Bond or whatever else we were doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, that's awesome. All right. So we are here tonight talking about the Snyder cut of Justice League. And it's just a miracle that this even got made, I think.
Yep.
And we've all had a chance to watch it. So, and again, this isn't a whole formal. So, Nikki, did you see the original bastardized version of this in the theaters?
Of course. Okay.
All right. And then after seeing this, what do you think? What were your thoughts on the Snyder cut?
So many. First off, the thing that really stuck out was that they got rid of that obnoxious family. Remember that horrible family? That stupid fucking... I'm going to make air quotes when I say this. The nuclear family, right? Because there was a mommy and a daddy and a boy and a girl, and they lived next to the fucking nuclear fallout place. And
right.
In the first one, we had to watch them do nothing for extended periods of time, and then we had to watch them get rescued at the end in the middle of the finale. Like, we didn't have shit else better to do than kill a lame ass fucking villain that was really so second level, but whatever.
I know it was such a weird choice to say no. We have to leave the battle. It seemed weird. It seemed so weird for.
It was such a pathetic movie studio disaster movie trope, right?
Yep,
when the ground opens up, there's always that one person that's got to get saved by the superhero so that we can have this relatable moment,
Right.
Because we can't just keep watching them save the world over and over without the one-on-one with a single person or entity that we think is just so humanizing. Fuck you.
Right.
So I was thrilled to see those people completely eradicated from the film's existence, like they never existed. Yes. Thank you, Zack Snyder. I will forever be grateful. That said, I'm a big fan of goth music, and that whole yodely fucking bullshit that kept popping up. There's a great meme online, and it's Big Bird walking in the door to that yodel music, and it's every time Wonder Woman walks in the room, boom.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
and it's why, Zach? Why? That shit is not cool.
Okay, so I watched this with the subtitles on, and every time that Wonder Woman came on, it said lamentation music.
And by the way, why would you ever do that when Wonder Woman's first entrance in fucking Batman versus Superman is that incredible fucking guitar tone intro thing, right?
Yeah,
she shows up and it's just ow! And that whole is she with you? I thought she was with you. That shit was hilarious, and it was so on point. And why would you not have that music be everything she does always? And there was a little kind of reprise of it underneath the yodeling you could kind of hear, but that whole thing just pissed me off. Why did a choir follow Aquaman to the fucking river?
Oh my god! So that was the weird
sweater. Come on.
The weird swan song and the sweater sniff was just
yes. What the hell?
I mean, this was not even a half an hour in, and I'm this is happening right now, and
you're $70 million, dude. $70 million.
Most of the women I know would do that to smell his sweater. So I'm just going to throw it out there.
I will attest. I was
my
wife with the sweater smell.
yeah. Well, so you got to figure too that, I mean, he's not wearing clothes when he comes up, right? Or he's got something on, right? So they have to give him something to put on when he gets to the bar, right? So you got to figure they just have a stack of Aquaman clothes there, right? And then now
fishing villages and all the bars.
Right.
It's the lost and found, Andy. There's a lost and found box underneath.
Wait, are there lost and pants in a bar lost and found? That seems kind of fucked up.
Do you remember Fast Times? Do you remember Fast Times at Ridgemont High when Rat comes across? And Mark Ratner's he's supposed to ask her out, but he doesn't. He goes, I want to know what you do with all the jackets that people leave here. And she's like, "Oh, we keep them for you," and she pulls the box out. That's Aquaman's clothes.
Oh, right. Hey, Johnny, Aquaman's coming up. You get him Skeeter's sweater from last night?
Exactly.
Skeeter? Isn't this like a Norse fishing village? And you've turned it into like Alabama Bayou crawfish guy.
But seriously, like, why does
Skeeter.
he always
I'm telling
take
you
the
that
top
right now.
off and not the pants?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's for us. Like, that's strict. It's like, we paid extra for the torso. We're going to get the torso. It's fine. I'm not mad at that. I'm mad at the choir. I don't even care if she sniffed his sweater. I just don't understand why they burst into crazy song. Like, none of that made sense.
She was the chosen one to sniff the sweater that turn. So the other two.
Do you think that happens every time he goes in the water from that bar? Yeah. Like, they're just sort of waiting there to sing?
I think those women follow him out, and I think they draw lots to see who gets to sniff the sweater.
Oh,
I think
they're like silent.
All right, it's Eunice's turn to switch.
Right.
You had it, Joe. You had it.
I think every woman in town hears that Aquaman came out of the King's Tide again and goes down to the pub and waits outside for him to decide he's leaving and follows him to the river. Is just like, or the dock of the ocean. And is just waiting to see when he's going to chuck a shirt. Like, why else are they there?
No, I think you're right. Yeah, and there are several girls in that village that have these shirts tacked on their walls.
Exactly.
Well, they want to see if he's going to throw some Aquamen their way.
Right. I mean, let's face it. It's a remote village. They probably don't have cable. There's probably no internet.
This true.
This is their excitement, you know? I mean, are the goats coming down from the mountain today? No, but Aquaman's coming in on the King Tide.
They do
Aquaman's coming down for drink.
Though, so you got to wonder if they're brewing or is that delivered. Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
I did appreciate that they went deeper into the Aquaman story. I think that Willem Dafoe is fucking weird. And not the good weird like he was in
Spider-Man.
Boondock Saints.
Thank you. Boondock Saints. Yes.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing in that movie. Jesus.
Yeah.
I told you, quarantine brain. It takes me a minute to think about, to like come up with the things that I'm thinking about.
We're here for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking about Willem Dafoe and Boondock Saints.
Right? I feel like that's good weird Willem Dafoe. This was bad weird Willem Dafoe. But, you know, I appreciated that they put that storyline in there because technically Aquaman takes place after Justice League, right?
Right. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this was all the stuff.
Wait, for real?
Yeah. So this is
so that answers a question that I had.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he
like
turns
why he's weird to Mira.
Yeah, he turns King of Atlantis in Aquaman.
Right.
And so this was
Norm fighting or getting ready to fight the Surface kind of thing, which is his brother.
Right. Yeah. What was with Mira's accent?
I think she was originally she was supposed to have that accent in Justice League, but because Josh Americanized her, it carried over into the movie, the theatrical movie, Aquaman.
Okay.
But so that's why they put her back in with the British accent. Okay,
because that threw me for a loop. I was, did she have an accent before?
It threw the entire internet for a loop. They're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it before, but I thought fucking Jeremy Irons as Alfred is so much better in this.
Agreed.
Than he was. Like he just seemed like an afterthought. Well, obviously he felt like an afterthought in the original cut, but
right.
I just thought sometimes
things I missed from the original cut, and there's like not very many. Was Aquaman getting caught in the lasso of truth?
Yes.
I thought that scene was hilarious and really, really fitting and poignant and all the business. And then also, I know that they were making an effort to cut down the Flash with his all ADD and quips, but I really liked him because I felt like that was finally them injecting some decent humor into the DCEU, which it needs. And I just don't think they know how to do. I think that they just must get like a whole room full of douchebags just going, well, Marvel did this and it worked. Marvel did this and it worked. And and I think Yeah, and I think Zack Snyder didn't have enough douchebags, but I think that the original cut, the Justice League had too many douchebags, and I think that what we need is like an optimum number of douchebags in the room.
Average douchebag equation.
Yeah, to get like a good DC fucking conversion to film.
The optimal douchebag humor equation.
Yeah.
Forget the equation that Darkseid's looking for.
Right. Yeah. And that was to go back. I think Ezra Miller is perfect as a movie Flash for comic relief. Like I just thought I loved him. I thought he was great. I
missed his Pet Sematary reference when they brought Superman back. That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing too, talking about Darkseid and the anti-life equation on Earth, right? If you are a badass world conqueror, right, and you just have world, underworld sort of bowing at your feet, and you go to one, and you get your ass handed to you, which fucking Zeus and Ares in that battle one sequence was so fucking awesome. Yep. But to get your ass handed to you, and you don't remember the name or where that planet is. I still remember the kid that beat me for 8th grade fucking Charlotte Wood presidency. I'm talking to you, Jonathan Cutting. You can listen to this. I'm still pissed.
That's all right, but look where you are now on this
That's
podcast.
Right. I'm hosting a podcast that maybe 10 people will listen to tomorrow.
Including us.
I have so many thoughts on this. For example, why is it that Darkseid has conquered 100,000 worlds, but Steppenwolf has to conquer 50,000 to get in his good graces? Are we really supposed to expect that Steppenwolf has to provide him with half his inventory to get out of the doghouse for something he did? Like, doesn't that sound like a bit much? And kind of doesn't that like negate like really the accomplishments of Darkseid if like half his conquering is done by this little bitch boy Steppenwolf?
No, it's an unattainable number. They give that
clearly
to
Darkseid.
Yeah,
clearly Darkseid has some gambling debt he needs to get rid of, and and sure enough, he's using his boy to get some real currency to
it's not just Darkseid that forgets. Everybody forgets. All of the pilots that were there flying those machines, all of the other people, everyone forgets.
Right.
Okay. On top of that, like, what is the real motivation here? Because like, if I'm Darkseid and I've already like plowed through 100,000 worlds and I'm still going strong because there's no end in sight. I need to like eradicate these worlds and like populate them with my robot dogs. I just don't understand what the point is. Like, what's the eventual goal? Like, what are you trying to attain here? Like, where does it end? Like, at what point do you stop and go, okay, that's enough worlds that I've conquered and destroyed that I'll never go to again. Now I'm going to go on like Beach World and just like, kill all the people but keep the beaches. Like, help me out. Like, what's the motivation behind Darkseid here?
That's a great
question.
What? He wants all the worlds. That's why.
Right. I think that's just
never ending.
Yeah, that's just tyrant universal domination.
Is it just an allegory for billionaires?
Possibly.
Sort of.
Oh, he's Jeff Bezos.
Right.
He is bald.
Someone make that meme immediately.
Oh my god, right. Andy, you guys have got to put that in the treatment for the show.
That'll be the treatment. Yeah. Yes. Oh god.
Bezos as Darkseid. Is it Darkseid, Darkseid, Darkseid?
It's Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Is he from the West Side? He's from the West Side of the universe.
It depends on where you're from.
Exactly.
Right. No, it absolutely is. Yeah.
It's an East Coast, West Coast battle kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Also, like the anti-life equation, it shows up in the battle, right? The 5,000 years ago battle, it showed up. So
somebody take a picture.
Yeah, who didn't screenshot that?
Yeah, like you were saying before, you got your ass handed to you, and you saw the anti-life equation, and there were other people there with you that brought you back to where you were going. Right. So somebody should have had like at least, left a trail of breadcrumbs so that you could get back to that fucking planet instead of randomly coming across it. But what I really
did anybody take notes?
Can we just stop pretending that Wonder Woman got molded out of clay? Because clearly her mom hooked up with Zeus after that battle. Because that battle was 5,000 years ago. Wonder Woman's 5,000 years old. Mom and Zeus were both at that battle. Everybody won. They got drunken fangs.
Oh, for sure. Her plot was like, look what you did, damn.
Right. And then she's like, I made you out of clay and Zeus brought you to life. Shut up.
I'm pretty sure that's the story she told her because she couldn't say that Zeus gorilla fucked her in the back of the temple.
Like, come on.
Oh god!
I may or may not be drinking a little bit, and I don't drink much anymore.
Hashtag gorilla.
Apologies. Yeah.
Going in the show notes, everybody.
Oh, good. Make sure you have a link to the Urban Dictionary of what gorilla. Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
I just have so many thoughts and questions. I don't. Somebody else go. I feel like I'm talking all the time.
All right, let's. Joe, what are your what stood out to you during? Because now you didn't see the original cut, so you didn't see. The Justice League,
I didn't see the original cut. I haven't actually seen many DC movies. I've seen. So I saw partial bits of Batman versus Superman, and I fell asleep. Garbage. Then I watched Aquaman because of Jason Momoa, and I love the ocean. So Aquaman,
totally valid.
And before this podcast, I watched the director's cut of Batman versus Superman and the Snyder cut, and it's a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
But it's really, really awesome, and I was really stoked. The things that stuck out for me were, Jeremy Irons Alfred is amazing, and I love him, and I will follow him to the ends of the earth.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the Zack Snyder movie that I love the most is Watchmen.
Of course.
And this is pretty much right under Watchmen for me.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. Nate, what stood out to you on this? I'm sure you have many thoughts.
The list of notes is long and distinguished, Andy.
Like my Johnson.
Like your Johnson, yes. So the fact that it's R-rated, I think, off the top is amazing. They don't get away with anything. They put a lot of blood into the movie, which wasn't there originally, which I love.
And Cyborg and Batman drop F-bombs.
Drop F-bombs, yep. Yeah, fuck the world.
Right.
I loved how they changed the opening from the kids doing their podcast with the weird mustached Superman. That's gone. It just rehashes his death from BVS, and then shows how his death screams kind of wake up the mother boxes. So that actually makes a little more sense to how the movie begins.
Right.
I love the extended version of Wonder Woman's scene, her intro with the rescue scene and the bombers and everything.
Oh god, dude! And her taking out the guys in the bank and the fucking throw against the wall and the blood spatter is just like.
I'm all here for that. Her using her bracers, blocking all the bullets several different times. It's less upskirts from the Joss version. So
right,
that's always good. In general, just because I watched it with my 12-year-old daughter. She is obsessed with Wonder Woman. I thought it was just badass extended version in general. Nikki, right on with the music choices in general. I think they're weird. I mean, Danny Elfman is just a music god in the first place, but I wasn't 100% bought into the new music on this one.
You just needed one more douchebag in the room to make it better.
Right. I mean, I was available. Exactly. Shit.
I will jump in here. I'm going to jump in here for a minute. They should have kept Hans Zimmer.
Well, yeah.
From Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, he did a great job in that movie.
I wouldn't be mad.
I agree.
And Junkie XL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
The music in that was fucking tits.
It was.
Yeah, his Superman theme.
Yep.
Is good. Like it rivals Williams' theme just a little bit. I mean. Don't get me started on Superman themes. Nate, continue.
Okay, so I'm like 2 bullet points into the list, so let me go quickly.
It's an actual physical list?
I made notes.
He prepared.
Oh my god,
they're long and distinguished.
Yeah, so you do good for us now here.
So
I'll be at the bar.
Yeah, make yourself a drink. It's going to be a long one.
Yeah, right.
The thing immediately that I was obviously like, what the fuck, was the aspect ratio.
Right.
I missed I started it, and apparently I missed like the intro thing that said, we're keeping this aspect ratio to respect the director's vision. I missed that somehow.
Right. Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't see it either, but I mean, you just accept it. Just lie back and think of English.
I'm like, wait, is it just the intro that's like this? And I Googled it real quick and like, no, it's a whole.
Yeah, no, it's
that's
like
why. They shot it for IMAX. Fuck yeah, now I want to go see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
I'm an IMAX whore too, by the way, Nikki. That's why.
Oh, big time.
Stoked.
Why wouldn't you be?
Right, exactly. Thank you.
What is the downside to IMAX? Is there a downside to IMAX somewhere that I haven't heard of?
Nope.
Okay. Just
100%.
checking.
Yeah. So people either like really love Zack Snyder in the way he shoots movies, or they don't. He shoots pretty much all of his movies are shot like big comic book splash pages, and I love it. 300, obviously, crazy stuff like that. So I really loved how his vision kind of incorporated all of that. I was really kind of shocked to see that most of the scenes that I really loved from the original Justice League, even though I didn't like that movie, were all Zack's. None of it was Joss Whedon. So I was stoked with that. Let's see. The scene in Atlantis at the beginning was really kind of cool. I don't like Amber Heard at all, and I don't like her as Mira, but I think she did a pretty decent job here. I like the fact that they sound like they're dolphins until they're in the air bubble, and then they can talk to each other. That was kind of weird, but I kind of dug it, I guess.
I think her entire acting ability is to just look confused and irritated all the time.
Right. Hot, confused, irritated. That's right. Yeah. So I did love her blood-bending fucking Steppenwolf, where she basically started sucking water out of him, then it was blood at the end of that. That was amazing.
The power of dehydration.
Right, exactly. Right. I love that there was an extended scene with the Amazons. That whole battle with Steppenwolf was obviously extended. The whole temple falls in the ocean. There's a bunch of extra scenes there. That was pretty epic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through this list quick, otherwise it's gonna take forever. Cyborg actually has a part in this movie. He's
so
one
much
of the lead characters. They have a lot of character development, an origin story, a bunch of additional loss, which Jesus Christ, he was having a hard enough time with as it was.
Yeah.
They did tone down the less hokey LOL stuff. I think you're right on, Nikki, with the amount of douchebags needed in the room. Although I think they did a good job. They basically toned it back to Snyder levels and then clicked it up like one notch, as opposed to the 10 that Josh Whedon added. You know, he doesn't.
It's a douchebag ratio. They had too high of a douchebag ratio to begin with, too low of a douchebag ratio on this one. We just need to pick it up a couple more.
Yeah, agree.
Right.
Let's see. I'll save issues for later. Steppenwolf remake, amazing. He's actually like a threat and an alien, and you kind of get an idea that he's insanely somebody to be fearful of, and you get his motivation finally instead of him.
Yeah, his motivation this time around, except for coming to Earth and wanting, boxes.
Well, right. He wants his fleshlights, and that's why he's coming back to Earth. He calls them mother boxes. Martian Manhunter, holy fuck, that came out of left field.
Yeah,
as you know, when he's disguised as Martha, I really wish they hadn't done that scene. And
that was so awful. Like, why? Yeah. It was so pointless. You know what that was? That was like Zach going, "Let me make another movie, you guys. Let me rally the nerds. Let me throw Green Lantern at you for 10 seconds so that the nerds will be like, Green Lantern, Zack Snyder should do a Green Lantern movie. And then let me throw Martian Manhunter in there so that we can do it. We can be like, whoa, Zack Snyder should do a Martian Manhunter movie too. And to me, that was just like blatant begging for another job as far as I was concerned.
I liked the scene at the end. I thought that made more sense. The one in the middle with Martha, with him.
I didn't even get it, to be honest. Like, I was like, oh, who the fuck is that? Like, I almost texted you guys, like, am I missing something from the original? Like,
he's one of the military guys from the Superman original Man of Steel movie. I
felt like both of those epilogues were bullshit, gratuitous, like, just trying to, like, get another job, trying to say, oh, we got Joker. Hey. Like, and let's face it, Gen X hates a fucking dream sequence bullshit ploy, right? Like, we all remember that whole season of Dallas that didn't count because Bobby Ewing was in his fucking shower. So whenever I see a scene get super crazy dramatic with a bunch of weird shit and then somebody wakes up, I'm like, Bobby Ewing in the shower, motherfuckers.
No, I agree. As much as I love the epilogue scene, they should have left it there. Like, the wake up at the end, I thought was, I totally agree. Like, fuck, just say in the not too distant future, and let the nerds go wild on it. let us go wild. Let me be.
Which, as somebody who didn't watch the original, and I had to actually read up on the nightmare dream sequences, and after I did that, it made more sense. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. But at first, I was like, what's up with Mad Max Batman?
Yeah,
right.
In the middle of
in for that movie, though.
In the middle of Watchmen Justice League, what the fuck is going on here? And
Joe, your live chat of this movie was something. I kind of want to put that in the show notes because that was pretty amazing.
Seriously, post it because
Joseph discovers that Zack Snyder's Justice.
I was texting you guys. I'm like,
I had to mute it several times.
What's going on here?
Yeah, no, Joe was basically MST3King this whole movie to us the whole time, which was
excellent.
It was just amazing.
That was pretty good. I thought they did Darkseid really well. He was terrifying as far as what he could do. The Omega Beam scene, I was like, oh my god, literally.
Yeah, that was amazing
when I saw it on screen.
Yeah.
Flash's window break in that scene was really cool. I thought the rest of that scene was just trash and shouldn't have been in the movie, but I thought the window break was really cool. Yeah. The resurrection scene was cool with Superman. It was a lot darker with that whole flashback, flash forward, with Cyborg and the ship, we don't want you to do this, please abort, kind of thing. I thought that was good. Let's see, we did bloodbending already.
That was a really nice setup for why Lois was there and why she came back at that specific moment too, instead of in the original where they made it seem like Bruce arranged for Lois to show up.
Yeah,
I like that better actually, because that showed Bruce as a tactician. The Batman in these movies is dumb. He's better in Batman versus Superman because at least he's engineering things to fight Superman with. But in this movie, he makes a lot of really shitty decisions. Where's the super smart tactician guy that he's supposed to be?
But he knows how to weld a troop mover, so he's not dumb.
Right, yeah.
Well, he can put it together. He can't make it fly.
Exactly. Yeah. Cyborg knows that it wants to fly. That was the other thing I love, that he's talking to all the tech and stuff. Yeah. It was really cool. Yeah. Let's see. We did Silas Stone's sacrifice. I thought was pretty cool. It didn't make sense at first. I'm like, what the fuck? And then oh yeah, duh. Yeah. Oh, that made sense.
Wait, which part? Come again?
When Cyborg's dad sacrifices himself to superheat the mother box so they can track it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's just damaged forever. Superman's dark suit. Fuck yeah. That's so metal. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I wish they'd had some kind of voiceover from the ship or something like that. This is your regenerative suit. It'll make you stronger, faster, kind of thing. Because unless you know that from the comic books, everyone's just it's metal as fuck and that's great. Which I love.
And I read this too. Apparently Snyder wanted to go full mullet. He wanted to go full with the.
He wanted the full mullet hair. I forgot.
But one of the douchebags said no, no.
He probably saw The Witcher and was like, "Holy shit, Cavill looks good with long hair. What's up?"
Right? Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It would bring him out with the Witcher wig on, then there would be a dry seat in the house.
Yeah.
So can we just make a thing of he never has to wear a shirt ever again?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm all for seeing all of them shirtless except for Affleck. Affleck can keep his shirt on.
I mean, little known secret, my COVID body looks like Henry Cavill's now. This is not true.
Okay, so the Joe is going to be a Cavill Momoa sandwich. That's what we're going to call it.
Jesus Christ. We don't make her pass out. We still need to talk to her.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my god. I thought Steppenwolf's death was pretty cool. Everybody got a piece of him at the end, and one woman got to pay off the mailing the head in through the portal. And
then a curb stomp. And a full-on fucking curb stomp. And Apocalypse.
That was his uncle, apparently, right? As far as the comic books go.
Or it's wasn't he an in-law or something?
They're related somehow. I don't remember.
Yeah.
He tried to overthrow Darkseid for the throne, right? And that's why he got banished. Something like that. I forget.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the sidekick? Because I feel like that guy was the CGI version of Clytus from Flash Gordon the movie.
Nice.
Oh no, totally. Yeah.
Right?
That's his torturer, I guess. Assad.
Right. Assad
with a D.
Yeah.
And the other one's Granny Goodness. She's the one that runs like their internment camp or indoctrination stuff.
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter, I said already. The Lex scene, I liked how that was extended. That was supposed to lead into the Batman movie that Affleck was going to direct because he revealed who Batman was to Deathstroke, which I thought was cool. And I think Joe Manganiello's dope as Deathstroke. I would have loved to see that.
Hella.
And that was another movie that we were supposed to get.
Right.
But
exactly.
Yeah.
It's scrapped.
All right, I'm almost done here. I got a couple more bullet points, then I'll shut up.
Yeah.
So I kind of love the dark flash forward, back, whatever you want to call it, into Mad Max area, because obviously that means that Darkseid wins. The Earth is scorched or whatever. They have to team up with all these random people. I'm so here to see like that version of Suicide Squad to save the world, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I thought the Joker scene was cool. It's definitely an improvement over Leto's version in Suicide Squad, although apparently he got completely screwed over, kind of like Cyborg did in his movie. There, people are already trying to do the director of Suicide Squad.
Yeah, David Ayer. And it got so bad that WB had to come out and say we're not doing any more director.
Yeah, and I don't believe that for a hot minute. Honestly, right. You see how this goes because people are reacting overwhelmingly favorable to this movie. And then the last thing, actually, last two things. So the release of the Snyder Cut worked. This is like movie history, obviously, right? It shows how epic fandom doesn't have to be toxic. It can actually be a force for good. And the only reason this was made is because of the fans. So I thought that's amazing. And we're just witnessing this history.
But however, no. This is actually the second time this has happened.
Okay.
It's not even the first DC movie to get a director recut. Superman 2 got the Donner version. What? I'm not lying.
It's from what, 1983?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been 20 years.
It still happened.
No, it still happened several years after the fact.
Yeah, not because of social media is my point. Like the fans called for it.
It did happen because of fan blowback. Yeah, it did.
Because of blowback?
I don't think
interesting.
I don't think the fan reaction would have been as vital or as I don't think they would have paid attention to the fans as much if it hadn't also had the support of the co-stars. I think
that's 100%.
Yeah,
I think that was like the golden spike that really made it all happen. If I hadn't seen the co-stars say, "You're right," Cyborg got fucked and Whedon was a dick and the Snyder Cut exists, I would have been like, whatever. But I think that enraged people, and I think that like really rallied the troops.
No, that's a fair point for sure.
After seeing that, after seeing the Snyder Cut versus what we got, and knowing that they brought in Joss Whedon just because he worked on Avengers, and they said
it would rub off,
yeah, they say, okay, reshoot it, make it lighter, and make it 2 hours. And you're like, okay, let me see what I can do. And yeah, you have to shoot Henry Cavill with a mustache and digitally get him out. And I'm sure some kid is now struggling to make work because he has, I cut Superman's mustache out of the Justice League Joss Whedon cut. You don't put
that on your resume, I think.
Right. Yeah. So, but no, after seeing what we got, after seeing the Snyder Cut versus what we got, it makes you really think, well, shit, these executives don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Right. And you could bring in an accomplished director, but cut his legs off. And it's like the worst decision he ever made by saying yes.
Let's not give him an easy out. I mean, he made
by not at all. Well, but he's told to make it lighter because everybody hated Batman versus Superman, and they said that's way too dark. You killed off Superman, and we have to have some sort of barrel of hope in these movies.
Well, people didn't hate it because it was dark. People hated it. Yeah, people didn't hate it because it was dark. People hated it because it was like void of like real storyline or interaction. Yeah. It was so like it had no texture to it, it was just so bland.
The director's cut or the
fuck. I hate Lois Lane, like just personally.
Well, she is a Scientologist, so we can start there. Beyond that,
yeah. I'm not a fan of Amy Adams. It's Amy Adams, right? I'm not a fan of her in the part. I'm not a fan of Lois Lane, the character. I've never been a fan of the way Lois Lane has been portrayed in any Superman property. Yeah. And the whole thing is just super irritating. By the way, is Lois Lane pregnant? I mean, is that a given? Like,
God, yeah, I think that
they're
was
alluding to that. Yeah,
the force majeure pregnancy test.
Yeah, and then the only other indication is like Bruce Wayne congratulates Clark Kent as they're like
by
getting
the way,
house
congratulations.
Back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm like, seriously, that's it? Like, that's how you're going to tell us Lois Lane is pregnant? And now we're going to have to have that nerd debate as whether or not a human uterus can handle a fucking Kryptonian pregnancy?
Yeah.
No, we have to go all Mallrats with it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Kevin Smith already figured this out.
So my theory is that Superman and Lois are going to have to, like, when that fetus hits a certain stage, they're going to have to put it into the Kryptonian ship, and she's going to have to, like, export that baby into the goo so that it can, you know, grow to the point where it can kick without, like, destroying the mother, right?
Oh, yeah. What's that called? Genesis chamber, right? Yeah.
So isn't that, like, theoretically a good way that Superman could have babies?
I guess.
Right?
I mean, there's a theory that it's Batman's baby. There's a theory that Superman was dead. There was grief sex, and it was Batman's baby. And
shut up.
That would have caused crazy drama in the next movie.
Bruce is not going to tap that.
I don't know. It happens. I mean, that might be too real for people watching a Superman
Bruce
movie.
has hot and cold running pussy all days of the week. Come on. He's not going to tap Lois.
Hey,
especially since he's holding the candle for Superman. This whole thing of like, I did him wrong and I got to make it right.
That's true.
Yeah, you're not going to make it right by banging.
But maybe Bruce Wayne was her dick in a glass in case of emergency. Breaks glass.
Honestly, anyway. I don't see Lois Lane having taste that good.
Nice. There you go.
She's lucky she got Superman, and it was only because his day job is at the freaking Daily Planet. Like,
right. Because she was the one that met him up at the iceberg or whatever. Yeah, we were watching Man of Steel and then the extended Batman versus Superman to get ready for this, my daughter and I. And she mentioned, like, how many times does he have to save her? Because that's all she is there for in the first two movies is to save her.
It's so insulting. She's just this
really bad.
Who shows up and has to get saved over and over again, and it's just such a sad vehicle to move a movie. Like, I hate they keep doing that.
Yeah, for her being the saving grace of Superman, supposedly in these movies, she is one of the most underdeveloped characters in this whole Zack Snyder trilogy, if you want to call it that,
or in history of the character. Even in the comics, right? I mean, they fleshed her out more in the comics, but she didn't start out to have anything other than the heroine or woman kind of thing.
As a Superman fan, I can safely say the two best portrayals of Lois Lane so far in all of the different representations. Smallville for one. I think Erica Durant's probably has played Lois the best so far. And then second, I'm really liking the new Lois on Superman and Lois right now.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. You said that was good.
Yeah. So
Andy, how did you survive with them not resurrecting Superman for a full 2 hours?
It was hard. It was really
like
hard.
150, right? It was like an hour 50 when he came in.
Well, and I think he was one of the people that really didn't get any extended part of this. Like, his involvement in this movie is the same as it was in the original Justice League, I feel.
Except at the end with the Steppenwolf thing. That was really cool. They added a little more there, right?
Right. Well, yeah, he wasn't off. He wasn't off throwing a building of people down just to one up Flash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did like that he used his frost breath, and like Steppenwolf tries to hit Cyborg with the axe and it hits Superman instead, and he's like, not impressed.
Yeah.
It just whoops his ass. So the last thing on my list, and then Andy, you get to go.
Okay.
The dedication at the end, I broke down watching that. Like I've said it several times. I have a 12-year-old daughter. I know some people that have taken their own lives. It completely wrecked me. And shouldn't have. But I love the fact that he did that, and then that they raised a ton of money for suicide prevention and awareness and stuff like that. So that's my list. And on that note, sorry.
No, that's okay. Back to you. No, Nate, you hit on a lot of right. No, Nate, you hit on a lot of the points that I really liked from this. Now, when I got out of the Joss Whedon version, one thing that I liked was this was the most sort of hopeful representation of Superman that we've gotten since Christopher Reeve, since Superman and Superman 2. So I actually liked what Joss did with the character in terms of making him a symbol of hope in that respect. Now that
speaking
I've seen
of Superman movies, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but speaking of Superman original movies, did you feel like having the Flash go through that kind of like time speed backwards thing was like an homage to Superman, like flying around the Earth to spin back time to save Lois Lane?
No, 100%. 100%. This is what Flash. This is what Flash does, though. But it was very similar to the ending of Superman 1, and just the a strength of sort of both of those characters. But no, I'm right there with you.
I felt like that was a big homage, and I was waiting for somebody to like nerd justify it for me.
That's what Flash does, to Andy's point. The other thing I forgot was that Jimmy Olsen from the original Superman is the cop.
That's right. That she gives him the cup of coffee.
She gives the coffee too. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I love it because he shows up pretty much everywhere in when they redo Superman, which is nice. I love seeing that. What else? Yeah, Alfred, Joe, to your point, I think was he was sort of forgotten in the Joss Whedon, but he's great in this.
The scene with the tea is hilarious every time I see it. It's all over the internet like crazy.
Dude, his
mansplaining how to make tea to the 5,000-year-old Amazon.
Yeah, like his interaction with the other superheroes and him not sort of like weirding out over them or just he's like, no, you're in my house sort of thing. Yeah. I love that part of it.
That added scene with him and
Bruce
Superman
in check
was good.
Yeah. As much as I love seeing Martian Manhunter on screen, that was totally forced. And I feel like it could have been dealt with better.
Thank you.
Yeah, where was he during Batman versus Superman when everything was going to shit?
Well, and I mean, like, why isn't he helping out? If he's there, why isn't he helping out?
Right.
That's the whole,
He's waiting to see what happens.
And I read somewhere too that the that very, very last scene after Batman wakes up, he wants to that was apparently supposed to be Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be
several lanterns.
Yeah, several Green Lanterns saying, "Hey, we're here to help." Yeah. The nightmare sequence, the end epilogue, I didn't realize that was shot strictly for this cut. Mm-hmm. And Zack Snyder said he's like, seeing as this is, and he said this too because apparently who knows if they'll make more movies. Never say never in Hollywood, but he said it just felt funny that I've had Batman for so long not to have him interact with Joker in some way, shape, or form.
Yep, I saw that.
And so I didn't realize that was the scene that they shot during COVID. That they shot this directly for this, which I thought was great. Manganiello was totally underused as Deathstroke. Yep. I know that they were going to set up his movie and everything, and it's sad that they're just not going to do that. Because I think he would have been great, but it's unfortunate that they let that go.
I read an interview that was the kind of breakdown of where it's going to go from here. Mm-hmm. If they actually did the trilogy that Zack Snyder wants to do, and I'll send you the link to it. It's interesting to listen or
so he's fleshed it out.
I wish they would.
Yeah, right. So he's fleshed it out. Like he has it ready. It's all like I think he got together with Jim Lee, who is the creative lead for DC Comics now, and they fleshed it all out. They wrote it apparently on this big whiteboard, and Jim Lee was up on a ladder drawing pictures and everything. Yeah. So I think for me as a DC fan, I despite the little issues I have with this, seeing the true realized vision of where the story was going, I just thought was incredibly amazing. And after, starting at Man of Steel, watching the extended cut of Batman versus Superman, which made so much more sense. You get 30 extra minutes. And I chatted up Nate. I'm like, man, that really fucking tied the room together. It really brought everything. It really brought everything there. And then
#Snyder rug.
Yeah. And then getting a 4-hour finish. So we have 10 hours of fucking Zack Snyder, Superman, Justice League content, right? He can leave it here and I think be happy with it. I don't know that he needs to continue it from here. As a fan, I'm totally happy with what was sort of left there. Do I want a 10 episode nightmare fucking sequence cut on HBO Max TV show? Hell yeah, I do.
Absolutely. Pardon the pun. Hell yeah.
Why wasn't this a series to begin with? I mean, honestly,
originally,
it should have been. This whole 6-part, 4-hour movie thing was just a weird attempt at making it still feel like a theatrical release when that was just completely unnecessary. I mean, Peter Jackson did how many different Lord of the Rings extended versions of everything? Like the nerd fandom is already pretty well accustomed to getting that on DVD to get it. And we're all in lockdown already. Nobody was going to get to see it in the theaters. It just would have made more sense to let him go to town and break that into a series.
No, absolutely. So the only reason I'm laughing here is because I sat for 10 hours in a theater with Joe's mom.
I knew it.
Watching all of the Lord of the Rings into the Return of the King.
Oh my God.
You're a trooper for doing that, Andy. You really are, because I wasn't going to do it.
Where's the medal? It should be on your wall right now.
Right.
Does anyone know anyone that did? The Sony Metreon had every single Marvel film movie, in order before Endgame. Did anyone go to that?
I didn't
I thought about it, but it was going to be too hard from the East Bay.
Oh, that's...
I gotta ask, I think I know somebody who is planning on it. I don't know if he actually did it, so I have to ask.
I wanted to do it. There was no way it would have worked, but Mark Bernardin from the Fat Man Beyond with Kevin Smith's podcast, he did.
That's right.
Before Endgame, and he said he loved it, but it was a slog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Manning, did you do it?
Oh, yeah. I wonder if Paul did it.
I think either Paul or Zach was going to do it.
Zach Hughes?
Either Zach Hughes.
Okay, yeah.
Paul Manning or Zach Hughes. Did you guys actually?
All right, let's call those guys out and see if they did it. You know what? And again, the main theme here of my sort of reaction to this is how ignorant studios are to the fully sort of realized dream. And we beat this to death on this podcast of the less involvement, the better when it comes to telling a story. And did your blinds just fall down?
Just making a drink. That sounds like an icebreaker.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Atta girl.
It's drink time. I mean,
no, okay.
It's second drink time.
Release the Kraken, please. No, just, having that singular voice and singular vision when putting together something, and you can really make a good story that makes sense. And, there are going to be some loose ends here and there, but at the end, we were really, really lucky, I think, to get this cut and this finish to the story that they started with Man of Steel to Batman versus Superman to now. So like I said, as a nerd, I'm totally happy that we got this.
Yeah, I think there's a couple people talking about obviously doing a comic book, him and Jim Lee.
Right.
Of the rest of this. Also, there's talks about an animated series, which would be interesting, although I know Nikki won't watch it.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Your loss.
Not my thing.
Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels are amazing. Anyway, I agree with you, though. I think it's great where it is. He said that he kind of wants to get away from it. I mean, for obvious reasons.
That makes sense.
A pretty major point in his life.
And
to kind of just put it to bed, I think is a good way to finish it. But like you said, never say never in Hollywood. I think there's going to be.
Do you really think this was him wanting to put it to bed? Because I felt like so much of this movie was like a "let me make more movies" kind of like plea to them. Like,
well,
otherwise,
what I felt too.
Yeah, like why bring in Green Lantern? Like, why if you weren't planning on making more movies and bringing in Green Lantern,
was in the original.
Martian Mindhunter, like.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well, I think it was.
Manhunter wasn't. You're right.
Why have the epilogue of the Nightmareverse if you're not trying to continue that story?
Yeah, I think it's double-sided. I think if it does well enough, and they come to him and say, "Hey, we want you to continue the story,"
right.
Then hey, it's done. But then at the same time, you have extenuating circumstances that removes you from a project that you invested several years, right? You and your wife several years in, and you get to see what they put on the big screen, and like, this isn't how I wanted it to finish. That would, especially if it was me, I would feel like no, I want to finish this just to fucking finish it, and let history decide on how it. And like, if it leads to more stuff. Man, it leads to more stuff. You know what? If Warner Brothers doesn't have him do something else, I think it would be a misstep.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got what, 4 characters that are completely not germane to the storyline at all that you introduced for no apparent reason other than future properties.
Oh, that was total fan service. That was total fanboy service.
You think the Green Lantern was just there so that comic nerds would just get a boner and be like, Green Lantern finally got some screen time, yeah!
Well, Lantern was there in the Josh cut. It was just different.
Yeah, it was. Well, and I think that
was just a blip, right? Like,
it was a blip. Yeah, you see the ring, you see the Lantern like come in for a second, get killed, and then the ring flies off. Yeah, and so no, I don't see Zach making any more of these movies now.
No.
And but it's 10 years down the line, who knows?
Right. I mean, I'm of the opinion that this was his original vision, plus. Like,
yeah,
his original movie plus of something, and then plus the Joker thing, and then a couple other extra things kind of thrown on. And I mean, we'll never know what his motivations were, but yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. Yeah, because you gotta, I mean, I think you have to throw a little bit of fan service and a little bit of those moments where, and then, that's it.
Can we just talk about how dumb the Iris West scene was? Because
that was total. I think that was total. That was total fan service. Yeah,
which one?
The one
the Iris West, the Flash's dog
when he's
interview,
applying to be a dog walker, and then brushes her hair out of her face, which was super creepy, but then he grabs a hot dog and puts it in his pocket. I laughed out loud for that part.
Yeah, actually I did too.
Was so
the hot dog part was hilarious.
Well, the other thing too, 24 minutes and 7 seconds of slow-mo in this movie.
Oh my God.
They really overdid that. And but that whole Iris West scene, that whole thing could have been gone unless they were going to bring her back in the movie and she was going to be some kind of motivation for Flash or something like that.
So they still are making a Ezra Miller Flash movie.
Yeah, and she's going to be Iris West.
And she will be Iris West in it. And so I think that was the only reason that was left in there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, that's fair.
Did anybody else think of the boys while watching the Flash of like when's he gonna run into some poor girlfriend?
Yes.
He already did disintegrated his shoes. Imagine what happens when he runs through someone.
Right.
Yeah.
God, can we get Zack Snyder to do some boys stuff? Fuck.
No, seriously, get him to direct some fucking. Oh God, that's right up his alley too.
Right.
That would be perfect. Yeah.
Eric Kripke's got it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say The Boys is already its own brilliance. I wouldn't mess with that formula.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't fucked that one up yet, so I'm in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's throw it to final thoughts. Nikki, what are your final thoughts on this? Like, what do you?
I am thrilled that it happens. Yeah. You know what? I enjoyed it. I really liked it, and I can't say that it was perfect because it's got so many flaws. But I feel like if that had been the raw version that they ended up with when they were originally filming this, and he had been able to take it to its fruition, that what we would have got would have been the perfect final like DC redemption movie. Because it's in there, like, and it just shows the potential for DC to actually compete with Marvel, which they haven't successfully done ever. No. And we've all been waiting for it. We've all been rooting for it. And the fan base is there. The market is there. For them to keep failing at it and for us to have to keep watching that happen has just been so painful that I think that we were all owed this. And if they had taken this and then whittled it down with like the obvious criticisms that are there with just one more douchebag in the room, it would have been fucking perfection.
Yeah.
Hashtag one more douchebag in the room.
Yeah.
If they had Kevin Feige to manage the DC EU, it definitely would have gone a different way, I think.
Well, they do. Yeah. They do, but he's heading up the TV universe. Greg Berlanti is as close to Feige, I think, as can be in terms of keeping things sort of together, because he is the executive producer, right, on most of those DC TV shows, and he's keeping that sort of together. But nobody to wrangle the movies like Feige at all.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like I don't do DC TV. I want to, but there's just so much of it out there that, and I'm a completionist.
It's way too much to start now. Like you need to start when it started. Yeah.
Like that's the same reason I don't watch Supernatural. It's just there's too many seasons, and I'm a completionist, and I will do nothing but watch from nonstop day and night until it's finished. And I just don't have that kind of time to devote.
Right. No, I'm
on my second trial of Supernatural. It's a lot.
The very first episode is itself a season. It's ridiculous how they do all.
But by all accounts, because I do have a lot of nerd friends, by all accounts, the DC TV is worlds apart from the DCEU, and I think that if they could just bring that management, like you said, into the DCEU, they'd have a viable property that we wouldn't have to be like, basically we're putting a nail in the coffin here, right?
Yeah. They should do a reverse Marvel.
We shouldn't have to do this.
Yeah, if they did a reverse Marvel where Marvel now is getting into TV after they've conquered the movie verse. Yeah. They do a reverse Marvel and do the opposite thing, bring their TV characters into their cinematic work. They could totally run away with that.
Yeah, and they just tried to rush it, and I think that was that was it. Like they needed to go low and slow, and
too many douchebags.
Rush a brisket. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To Nikki's point, though, I think so. This would have had to be a 3-hour movie plus, right? In the movie theater. I mean,
right, and they would have never done it. They would have if they said, "Okay, Zach, what are your thoughts on this?" They would have part 1 and part 2 it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, just to make the most amount of money for sort of the one movie. Right. Like, oh no, let's part 1, part 2 it. Release them 6 months apart, and everyone will laugh to the bank.
That would have been amazing. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if that would have happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Oh my God.
Fucking A.
Warner's would be in a whole other position, and we'd all be looking forward to 3 more properties coming out, and who knows what an extended DCU would be like in the next 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
But now we're all sitting around going, maybe they'll make another one eventually.
Right.
Maybe if we're lucky.
What do they have?
Which Warner Brothers is saying, nope, you get all you get, and
Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, Flash movies coming up. Black Adam comes out soon.
The Rock.
Yeah. There's something else that I'm missing. But yeah,
the Batman with Sparkly Pattinson.
Oh, that's right.
And, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. I feel like Robert Pattinson could actually be like a decent Batman. I've seen him in some stuff that makes me think he could pull it off.
Yeah.
He's come a long way. I mean, come on. Like Twilight was what, like 15 years ago, 20 years ago?
Well, yeah, and everything he did since then was like art house indie craziness that he's been really well acclaimed for, as far as
and I mean, watch an interview. He hates those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
absolutely
nightmare to work with. Too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he hooked up with his co-star, and then she like dumped him famously, and then pretty much became a lesbian.
Oh yeah.
So, like his whole those movies like made his life and ruined it all at once. But I think we'd all be in a different position here as well if the follow-up, if Wonder Woman 1984 hadn't been such a steaming turd as well.
Really, coming off that first Wonder Woman movie, which was fucking epic.
I was almost in tears. Exactly the first Wonder Woman movie was so good, and we all had our expectations set for finally the DC is gonna just put us in to bring us up to where we belong, you know. Right. And then they just shit that movie out so badly with so many cliches and so much stupid shit and such a convoluted bullshit storyline and a terrible villain, and there's like. Every single thing in that movie failed except for the Linda Carter cameo and the fact that Gal Gadot is hot.
I like Kristen Wiig in that, honestly, even though she was Kristen Wiig in every role.
I like her, but she never should have been the villain. She never should have, she should have honestly been like a side character. It would have been cool to have her end up being like a Wonder Woman sidekick who shows up. Right. But instead, she had like a whole life story arc that just ended.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's your release schedule. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was just going to say that Wishmaster thing was just the biggest pile of garbage I've ever seen in my life.
I want to be the stone. It turns into the stone. That'd be great.
All right.
So Suicide Squad comes out August 6th. James Gunn, Suicide Squad. That's going to be fucking dope, I think. The Batman comes out March 4th, 2022. Then we've got The Flash November 4th, 2022. And Aquaman 2 is in December of that year.
Oh, and they shit on Birds of Prey too. I mean, there was an opportunity to make Birds of Prey be way better than it was. It was okay, but like it just fell flat.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I'm not the target audience for that movie. Like,
they're not putting They're not putting the writers in where they need good writers. It's like they're just getting one guy to write a basic story, and then they're getting a screenwriter to write scripts off of that basic story. And they don't have any really good writers to like inject a texture and a depth into that script that allows them to kind of develop these people into the characters that we want to see.
Well, since we're talking DC, what do you guys think of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn?
I thought she nailed that part.
She's fantastic. I think exactly, like she's perfect for it. Why couldn't they give her the vehicle to do what she's doing? Like she made Suicide Squad. Like, I keep forgetting Will Smith was even in that movie, and he's the one that got the big paycheck.
He should have been in that movie.
Yeah.
God, what a waste.
I'm excited to see what they do with her in the new Suicide Squad.
Yeah, for real.
I can't.
The fact that James Gunn's directing it, I'm all in, and expectations are super high. Like,
and just the actors that they have for that movie, I'm stoked to see them in these like goofy sort of superhero roles. So I'm
glad they brought Captain Boomerang back. Honestly, I want to see what they do with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
If it's anything like the video game preview, then it's going to be good. Because that video game preview was like, that was movie worthy.
Yeah. It totally was. Yes. Oh, yeah. No, we had a whole podcast, I think, to all those trailers that came out when DC Fandom hit.
That was good stuff.
Yeah. Joe, what are your final thoughts on Justice League? Are you glad you spent the 7 hours watching TV just to make this podcast work?
I actually, surprisingly, am really glad, and I want to go back and watch Wonder Woman now. And
so good. The first one, not the
second. Well, I'll watch both of them because I got to.
Okay,
but I was stoked after watching all this, and I'm like, it kind of invigorated me a little bit, and getting back into the superhero thing after my sorry Nate, but Marvel burnout.
Don't need to apologize. Certain people are built for it.
Yeah.
Were you psychologically scarred by the 1-2 punch of Infinity War's Endgame like I was?
Not psychologically scarred. I just I was like, I can't watch this much TV or movies. I can't keep up.
Oh, I was just psychologically exhausted.
Watching it, I was like, I'm done with it.
It was like so many characters doing so many things and so much everywhere that my brain was just like, I can't look at you people again. I literally have not watched them since.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I just buried it.
Yeah. Joe, you need to live chat us when you watch Wonder Woman 84.
No shit.
I just want to read what your thoughts are. I think that would just be amazing.
Oh my God, you haven't seen it yet?
No.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. I didn't mean
watch it with Joe.
Yeah,
I should have said spoiler alert, but it was so long ago.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, no, we have to poke and prod Joe to watch these movies just to get her to review them sometimes. So, because Joe is the resident horror expert. So
I'm the horror fantasy nerd.
Yeah, I always got to make sure that I add that extra syllable when I try to say horror. Yeah.
Well, if it was me, both would be accurate. So,
and we'd like to welcome Nikki Blakk to the podcast for the 10th time.
Woman after my own heart.
Stay tuned to the Rum Regret After Dark podcast featuring Nikki Blakk. All right, ladies and
Ask a hot chick.
All right, yeah.
Well, you guys remember I hosted Kirk Hammett's Fear Fest Evil for a couple of years.
That's
too.
right.
Nice.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I love me some horror.
Yeah. Nate, what are your final thoughts on this?
Well, I kind of gave up all the goodies early. So final thoughts are kind of similar to everybody else. I'm really glad that Zack Snyder got to see this thing fulfilled. I'm really glad that all the fans got the movie they think they wanted. Hopefully, we'll see. You know how toxic some of these fan groups can be. Last year.
It was a brilliant movie.
This gives me hope. Oh, Jesus, I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Sorry. This movie gives me hope that the DC EU can actually put out some heavy-hitting stuff. I like the fact that it's a lot darker than Marvel. It's supposed to be. That's the point. DC comics have always been darker than Marvel. That's the point.
That's the whole reason we root for them.
Right, exactly. And like Andy alluded to earlier, I'm a mega fan of Marvel just because that was my comic genre growing up. And but I never stopped rooting for DC. Like there's nothing brings out excellence like great competition. And I would love for DC to get their movies up.
Yeah.
To bring out some of that great stuff. But overall, I thought it was great. Like a B+ probably for me if I was going to give it like a grade 8 out of 10, 8.5, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I agree. It's definitely like an 8.5 up there for me. All right. Nikki, it was so awesome having you on this.
I miss you, Andy.
I miss you too.
Team No Pants por vida.
Damn straight. I am definitely going to be bugging you to come back on a cast in the future. So if you are willing, we would love to have you back.
Have nerd will travel.
That a girl. Yeah. So if yeah. And hey, we may rope you into a After Dark. Try to resurrect the Ask a Hot Chick on here.
I'd have to call Pandora, see if she's up for it.
That's right. Yeah, we'll fucking put the band back together. Anyway,
I passed the nerd test? I didn't get any of the questions wrong.
Again, it was, as Nate said, it was more of a survey, and it was just
wrong answer.
Yeah, there are no, and it was just sort of to get your, like your background and what your, I think
your nerd leanings.
Yeah,
your nerd cred is strong.
No,
there are wrong answers. We all know there are wrong answers.
I didn't realize that you were such a deep nerd. So yeah, you get 100% nerd.
Well, and she goes, and I mean, you've been to Comic-Con several times, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I'm bummed it keeps getting canceled.
I know. Yeah.
Fucking COVID.
I know. Well, and I was bummed ever since they moved WonderCon to Anaheim. I loved having it in downtown San Francisco. Yeah. Fuck, that was amazing. Yeah. So anyway, again, Nikki, thank you so much for being on. I'm definitely gonna get you back on a cast sometime in the near future.
Anything for you, brah.
You're awesome. Yeah, we love you. Nate loves you probably just a little bit more.
Don't get creepy, Nate.
Yeah,
I didn't say shit. I hate you guys so much.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, I know. Hey, I love you, Nate.
Maybe just a little too much.
Just a little too much. Anyway, what did you guys think of Zack Snyder's Justice League? Do you think it will spawn more movies? Do you think he'll make more movies after this? Or was it just him finishing up? Let us know in our comments. You can find us on Facebook at the Rum Regret Podcast or at Twitter at rum_regret. Joe, where can they find you?
Joe Chickadee on the socials or at joechickadee.com.
Nate, where can they find you?
Sure. AV1D Gamer on all the socials, Avid Gamer, and all your video game platforms of choice.
Yeah. And Nikki, I know you're very active on the social media. Do you mind giving out your socials?
I don't care. It's
okay. Well, I mean, 3 people are going to listen to this, so it's
yeah. You know what? Fucking Google me. It's pretty easy.
Oh yeah. Well, and I can link you up too in the show notes.
I'm Googleable. You'll find all the things you want,
and maybe some things you don't want.
Yeah. You remember that time we were in the studio and we started to type in Nikki Blakk on the search line, and then feet was the next thing that came up, and it was so weird.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck, man? Like, it just Google prompted feet as like literally the next thing, not rock or radio or the bone or anything. Fucking feet.
I know.
Wow.
Oh man, people are weird.
People are so weird. Hang on.
I'm not mad. I mean, vaya con Dios with whatever your thing is. That's cool. I just never knew that feet were so prominent that Google would prompt it.
I know, it was like the next thing up. It was so weird.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So now all my friends make fun of me. They want me to start like a foot fetish page. Yeah.
Well, you can find Nikki Blakk at nikkiblackfeet.com.
No, I'm going to build a logo right after this.
Yeah, feel free. Don't get me started on the Bunyan fans.
Oh Jesus! No. We'll let that one die. We'll let that.
Not
one
making
die
that up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh, that's amazing.
See, you can find me on... You're not so weird.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, this is brilliant. You can find me on Facebook at Crazy Drake, Twitter at Andrew Drake. And until the next time, we have spoken.